the set of his shoulders, the shape of his head, the way he moved. Something reassuring. He picked up his drink and went his way around the tables to join her at the bar. Bernie's fingertips went immediately to her earlobe, twisting the little chunk of zirconium. "Great voice," he said, sliding his drink next to hers onto the bar. Close up, the man revealed himself to be anywhere between 25 and 40. His mouth was thin, his eyes heavy-lidded, and his hair was a jet-black flat top, the likes of which Bernie hadn't seen since the 50s. He was wearing a scuffed black leather jacket, tight black jeans, and a thin grey T-shirt with some kind of wash-faded graphics on it. He had a faded cobweb tattoo across his neck, a skull and crossbones ring on his middle finger, a flashy buckle in his belt, and a missing tooth that Bernie didn't notice until he smiled at her and said, "How long have you been singing, then?" "Longer than you've been alive," she said with a laugh, exhaling and stubbing out her cigarette. Bernie sensed that she should have felt uncomfortable, but she really didn't. There was something about this young lad, something familiar, compelling almost, that made him seem like the sort of person her 15-minute breathers were meant for. "You all right, Bernie?" said Roger, suddenly appearing, owl-like, at her side. "Yeah," she said lightly. "Fine." "Let me buy you another drink," said the man. Bernie looked at her watch. Jerry would be expecting her phone call around now. But then again, knowing Jerry, he was probably so wrapped up in the candelabra he was polishing that he wouldn't have noticed the time. "Yeah," she said. "Why not?" "I'll have a gin and lemon, please." She eyed up the man's profile as he waited for Roger to serve him. His cheeks were slightly pockmarked, and Bernie suddenly saw him as the spotty, awkward adolescent he'd once been. The black leather and the tattoo and the dyed hair were just a costume. He was no hard man, she thought. Just a little boy. Like her boys, like all boys. Bernie felt the familiar maternal throb in her chest. "Saw you here last week," she said, accepting her drink. "All on your own then, too, you were. What's the matter with you? Got no mates?" The man laughed and offered Bernie a cigarette. "Nah," he said. "Not round here, anyway." "Just moved to the area?" "Yup." "Where from?" "Round and about." He stopped to light her cigarette, and then looked her straight in the eye. "What about you? You a local?" She nodded, wanting to tell him that she lived just around the corner on Beulah Hill, but stopping herself. "Alone?" She laughed. "Not quite. With Jerry, my husband." "Kids?" "Yeah, 3 boys." She paused. "It's funny. I never really wanted a girl. I always felt more comfortable around men." He nodded. "What sort of age are they then, your boys?" "Well," she began. "Tony's the eldest. He's 34. Sean's the middle. He's just turned 30. And then there's Ned, the baby. He's... what is he? 26? 27? What year is it?" 2001. She counted off on her fingers. 27 next month. She smiled with relief. It didn't feel right, not knowing how old your son was. But then it had been a long time since they'd celebrated his birthday together. "Proud of them all?" Bernie thought of her boys, her beautiful boys. Of course she was proud of them. It was all she could do to stop herself exploding all over the place with pride. Tony was a successful businessman, ran his own greeting card company that he'd set up from scratch in a room in his flat when he was 21. He employed 20 people now, and had a lovely house in Annerley. Well, it was more of a flat, really. He hadn't been able to afford a house after the divorce. But it was very nice.